Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Imran Riaz Khan to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Imran Riaz Khan's words. General Asim Munir has completed his visit to the United States. After that he went to Belgium, and there is also some news coming from Belgium, which I will share later. However, General Asim Munir also addressed the Pakistani community there. He went there as the Chief of Army Staff. He is going as a Field Marshal, but he is also addressing the Pakistani community. He meets with dignitaries and he gets involved in political and administrative matters. At this time, the Pakistani military establishment has a significant role in politics and administrative affairs, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Interior, and every other sector. This is a very positive thing for the current regime of Pakistan, especially for the political parties involved, because in the future they will be able to easily shift the blame for any failures onto the military establishment, saying that everything went wrong because we were powerless and unable to act under the control of the military. They will claim that the military is the one that caused the disaster, while we have always delivered and will continue to do so. These are things they will be able to say in the future, and I know this well because this is what they've done before and will do again. He addressed the Pakistani community there and did not forget about social media. Social media is a problem for Pakistan's establishment that is really affecting their nerves, and they cannot ignore it at any place. All the efforts to destroy social media, the time and attention given to it, should have been used to end terrorism or focus on Pakistan's economic development. If that had been the case, Pakistan's situation today might have been much better, but no attention was given to this issue. Now, regarding the tenure of the army chief, I would like to tell you something. There was a claim regarding the Belgian visit of the army chief, and I have a couple of tweets related to this. One tweet is from Mohammed Faisal, where he claims that during the visit of the Pakistani army chief, Asim Munir, to Belgium, Pakistanis, there filed an FIR against him. The FIR alleges that the army chief was involved in orchestrating an attack on the embassy staff. This is one part of the story. However, there is another piece of information which I can't confirm yet, but it claims that a document has been filed in Belgium by Pakistanis, which includes data about human rights violations. The complaint is made by Sheikh Mohammed Adil, whose details are provided in the document, including his email address. The document contains detailed information about Asim Munir's physical characteristics, his age, height, weight, and even a photograph. It states that he arrived in Brussels on August 10, 2025. It seems that this document was prepared in advance. The allegations mentioned include crimes against humanity, the massacre of protesters in Islamabad, terrorism, and the unlawful detention of 10,000 individuals. Reports from various NGOs and Amnesty International have been included as evidence. The document requests that the matter be sent to the federal prosecutor for legal action, including arrest warrants. This document points to serious charges and asks for legal proceedings. Now, let me bring up the main issue that we've been discussing for the past day or two. Will this army chief continue in 2026 and 2027? How long will he remain in power? The reason for this discussion is that Imran Khan and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, believe that as long as Asim Munir is in charge, they will not be able to launch any movement. They will not be able to act against the government, as the full strength of the military will be used against them, and this will create a major obstacle for PTI. They believe that as long as the army chief is Asim Munir, there will be no level playing field. This is not a new issue, it's an old one. Those who support Asim Munir claim that during Imran Khan's tenure as Prime Minister he mistreated him, while Imran Khan denies this and states that he never mistreated him. Instead, Asim Munir wanted to meet his wife, but he was refused. This dispute continues to affect their relationship. There are two main questions. First, will there be a new term or extension for the army chief? According to the new law, the army chief's tenure is for 5 years, but some people claim that Asim Munir will get a new term and will continue for 5 more years, while others argue that the previous extension will be included in the new term. Asim Munir has already completed 3 years, so some say that he might get 2 more years, extending his tenure until 2027. However, there are those who argue that this extension will not happen. Rana Sanaullah and Faisal Vauda have stated that there will be no extension, and they believe Asim Munir's term should not be extended. However, extensions have been given to many officers in this government, and even the government itself agreed to give extensions. Rana Sanaullah, speaking on behalf of the government, has stated that Nawaz Sharif has always been against extensions, and this has been the stance of PMLN. However, Nawaz Sharif in his past tenure had allowed many extensions, so there is a contradiction in the stance. The initial indication from both the government and the establishment suggests that Asim Munir might not get an extension, though this issue remains unresolved. Regarding international news, there have been reports about Israel and Gaza. Journalists and humanitarian workers have been killed, and Palestinians continue to suffer with increasing difficulties. Israel's new plan to take full control of Gaza has faced opposition even within Israel, where protests erupted against Netanyahu's plans. Over 100,000 people protested in Israel against the occupation of Gaza. These protests have made it clear that many Israelis oppose Netanyahu's policies regarding Gaza. However, Pakistan's response to the situation in Gaza has been surprisingly muted. In the past, Pakistan would have been outspoken about such issues, but now the establishment seems to have shifted its stance. General Bajwa during his tenure was one of the few who openly discussed the need for Pakistan to reconsider its stance on Israel, suggesting that Pakistan should engage in diplomatic relations with Israel. Many political and religious groups in Pakistan no longer take a stronger stand on Gaza, with some even suggesting that this is an issue for Arab countries and not Pakistan. This change in Pakistan's stance seems to be linked to broader regional politics, as now Pakistan is focusing more on Kashmir rather than the issues in Gaza. However, Pakistan is not receiving the same level of international support for Kashmir, which leaves the issue feeling more like a regional struggle rather than a religious one. Some have even suggested that Pakistan should recognize Israel in exchange for regional stability. This shift in foreign policy indicates that the current regime in Pakistan might be taking a different approach to international diplomacy, particularly in relation to Israel. This reflects a broader trend in Pakistan's thinking, moving away from purely religious or ideological stances to more pragmatic regional politics. They are coming from Israel, meaning there could be protests against Israel in Israel itself. However, there is no protest against Israel in Pakistan. Every voice raised for Gaza has been silenced in Pakistan. A delegation was even sent to Israel, but later, no one took responsibility for it, and no one is backing down. Meanwhile, those people are enjoying protocols. They're enjoying themselves as well. Moreover, during the PSL matches, people who took the Palestinian flag to the stadium had their flags taken away by the Punjab police. The police confiscated the flags because in Pakistan there is no policy that allows the raising of the Palestinian flag. However, around the world in sports arenas, whether it is football or other games, people raise the Palestinian flag. Even players do it, holding the Palestinian flag in their hands to show solidarity against the oppression and barbarism taking place there. Sports and athletes are considered ambassadors of peace, and historically these platforms have been used to oppose tyranny and barbarity. But in Pakistan even this was not allowed. Senator Mushtaq's wife and children were dragged, women and young people were arrested, police used brutal torture repeatedly against those who protested against Israel. 2 young men were run over by a car in one incident. Until today, nothing is known about what happened. Furthermore, there is General Kurella, who supported Israel the most and helped Israel in every situation, whether in Gaza or Iran. General Kurella was awarded the Presidential Award in Pakistan. This also shows that Pakistan's policy is shifting, changing. Donald Trump, who has now strongly advocated for Gaza's dire situation, has repeatedly said that the conditions there are very bad. Yet, despite knowing this, Donald Trump stands with Israel and Netanyahu. And now Pakistan says that he should be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. This too is noteworthy. After a short while, Khawaja Asif does release statements expressing sensitivity regarding Israel, Palestine and Gaza. But he himself has never protested in Pakistan, nor has he allowed any party to protest, nor has he allowed any voice to be raised. He asks what the Muslim world will do about Israel's occupation of Gaza, whether it will only condemn it verbally or take practical steps. The question is, as the defense minister, what are your practical steps? You have the largest and most powerful army in the Muslim world. What practical actions have you taken? You are looking at the world while non-Muslim countries are witnessing mass protests. But in Muslim countries there is no room for protests. More than half of Muslim countries are under dictatorships where no one can protest. And in Pakistan there is an unofficial dictatorship as well. Even here, people are not allowed to protest. Meanwhile, in the West, strong voices are being raised. The 1.5 billion Muslims worldwide will be asked, what will they answer for? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the mercy to the worlds. So, Khawaja Asif, you too will have to answer this. You have been given power by Allah. The command of the army is in your hands. You will have to answer for this on the day of judgment. The oppressed Muslims whom you beat for protesting will not be held accountable, but you will be held accountable. This shows how Pakistan is backing down. On one hand, terrorism is also out of control in Pakistan. Mohsin Naqvi said that it is the fear of terrorists. To control terrorism, the government of Pakistan banned the operation of trains in Balochistan until August 14th. The government of Pakistan said that they cannot protect the trains. Imagine a country with such a large security force, more than 1 million police officers, forces and military, yet Pakistan, a nuclear power, is so fearful of a few terrorists that it has suspended train services. Despite their grand claims that they will do this and that, the government has shown they cannot even secure trains from terrorists. And Mohsin Naqvi is now embroiled in another issue in Islamabad, related to a mosque. Several mosques have been built illegally on land near green belts or on land occupied without permission. The government claims these lands belong to the state, and these mosques were built illegally. How can a mosque be built on occupied land? When the foundation was being laid, the authorities should have prevented it, but even though this is not appropriate, the authorities demolished the mosque overnight. They cleared the area and planted trees in some parts. Some people say the mosque was destroyed, but the area for the madrasa building was raised. Now the clerics gathered there with copies of the Quran and expressed their anger, claiming that the Quranic copies were also martyred during the demolition. They demanded Mohsin Naqvi's resignation. The Jamaat-e-Islami party, which is linked to these clerics, has raised this issue. Let's see how it unfolds. However, the government plans to rebuild the mosque, and it is now a matter of whether the land should be reclaimed. While I say that no mosque should be built on occupied or government land without permission, I also believe that the government must act wisely. The issue could have been resolved through negotiation. But speaking of illegal constructions, why doesn't the government focus on the entire land mafia and the large-scale developments built illegally on riverbeds and floodways? You don't see these, but entire societies have been built on them by land mafia and wealthy individuals. The government needs to take action against these illegal constructions. Cities are flooding every year due to these illegal encroachments. If we want to protect our cities, we need to clear these illegal constructions and restore the natural flow of rivers and streams. However, no attention is paid to this. Now, this government needs to wake up to the fact that illegal constructions are worsening the situation in the country. Another issue I mentioned earlier is that right after the February 2024 elections, I was arrested and sent to jail. When I returned, the government was already formed, but I reported it all. I'd said at the time, while in the prison van, that this was a fake government formed on fake Form 47, and they now believed it was a legitimate government. The establishment and bureaucracy were behind this, but now they seem to think that their victory was rightful. Imagine, the bureaucrats who issued fake forms are now being arrested. I believe that in the next elections, the establishment may not use the bureaucracy, but could instead use the judiciary. They have already gained control of the judiciary, and it could be used in the next elections. The reason is clear. Whenever free and fair elections are held in Pakistan, the establishment will face a crushing defeat. Two options remain for the establishment. Either they end this dirty game and step back, allowing free and fair elections, or they will continue to interfere and will face widespread public opposition. The people will oppose whatever candidate the establishment supports. Finally, the current government has requested the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, party not to start a protest campaign on Independence Day. They believe this could be an opportunity for PTI to raise its voice, since normally the government suppresses PTI. The government fears that PTI might use this occasion for protests, and they are trying to avoid it. That wraps up our translation of Imran Riaz Khan's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.